Welcome back to She Said We Said podcast. I'm Kat.
Candy. Hello.
And we are back with Melody.
Hi.
We had to continue this talk. So we left off. I'm just gonna jump right into it because if you've seen part one, you know you're ready for part two because I am. We left off asking the question of what you've been through with the last relationship that was a domestic violence relationship, and we left off asking you had a baby, a second baby,
Yes.
and you had been experienced being choked, verbally abused, and but then you had a third baby, the second with him.
Correct.
So how did we get to that?
So, I just didn't leave. I didn't leave. He didn't leave. We tried to make it work. We, we're new parents to our, my middle child. And, I was vulnerable at that time. I felt like, oh no, I'm in another relationship. I had another kid and I needed it to work. And I was going to try to prove that I could be this down female who wasn't going to give up. And we finally did break up. We broke up when I was, I want to say about 5-6 months pregnant.
With the second baby.
With a second baby.
Okay.
Correct. And
now, who broke it up? Or who broke it off?
We both did.
Mutually.
We both did.
Okay.
I moved out of our house when he was at work.
I want to know, did you take everything?
I took everything.
You took the remote?
I took everything.
Okay.
And to the point to where he called me talking about, you took the iron. I need to iron my clothes.
So y'all mutually decided to break up, but you moved out while he was gone. So.
Yes, because I just got tired of it, and he I want to say he'd been tried to leave, and I didn't want to let it go. I was pregnant. I was scared. I got 2 other kids. And he knew that he wanted to be with somebody else, and it was like, if no, she can't have you. It was one of those, no, she can't have you. You know what I mean? And what's so funny is that her birthday was the day after mine.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So okay. So we gotta rewind. So you're in this relationship, and you guys, you're not married, right? You wasn't married. Second baby in this relationship. So you knew about another woman during this second pregnancy?
He was cheating on me.
So he was cheating. So you found out. I'm assuming you found out about it. So did he tell you like, I want to leave you for her, or because you said he wanted to be with somebody else? So I'm just asking, like, did he tell you that, or you just knew by his behavior and his
I
action?
knew by his behavior and his actions. No one told me what was going on. But you can tell.
Okay.
You can tell with the fights, and I'm leaving stuff. You know what I mean? Staying out late, going to the store, coming back, seeing the earrings in the car, stuff like that.
So was there any abuse, physical abuse, while you were pregnant?
Yes.
There was.
He spit in my face.
Ooh. Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah, he spit in my face. He spit in my face because I wouldn't give him any money to go out and leave.
Ooh. So how do you remember that night? Because then I would ask you, like, okay, y'all getting into it, y'all arguing. He wants some money, go out and leave. So then he just like and spit, and then like, because I just can feel all the rage of
Yeah.
somebody spitting in my face. So
Yeah.
he spit in your face. Do you remember like what your reaction was? Like, did you just go wipe it off and go in the room like, well, at least he's not leaving?
We were in the
or
car.
You were in the car.
We were in the car, and I was upset. I was mad, but at the time I was pregnant, and it was like, whatever, wipe it off, whatever.
Used to it. Would you say you were used to it?
Yeah, it was. I was just whatever, and I even fought her, the girl, when I was pregnant. I called motels, found out what motel they was at, and went out there and fought her, knowing darn well that I wasn't supposed to do that. I'm pregnant, and at the time when I went to go fight her, and then I just realized like, oh wait, I got this baby in my stomach, and I just bawled down and held my stomach and protected my stomach. You know what I mean?
Because you
And
were going to
she's
attack her. And you,
right.
Not even thinking like,
Not even thinking, just, and, she's kicking me and, and.
Where was he?
He just.
He just.
Yeah.
No. I need you to say
Yeah,
it
he
really
just watched
slowly.
it.
He just stood by and watched.
And just watched.
Okay, so you said she was kicking you, whatever, you're balled down, you're trying to protect the baby.
Yeah.
And she just going crazy. And he's just watching.
Mm-hmm.
So then when it's all said and done, well, do he be like, all right, babe, that's enough, and they go back in the hotel and you get up and leave?
I got up and left. He, I kicked him out. He left for a little while. I let him come back.
He wanted to come back.
Yeah.
What did he say when he wanted to come back? What did he say? Do you remember?
He apologized or whatever have you, and we were gonna try to make it work, and it didn't work. He kept dealing with her. And it was to the point to where, you know what, I can't do it no more. He can't do it no more, and we split apart. Mm-hmm. And then there was a time where he came up to come get our other kid. I'm pregnant. And I realized that when he comes to get her and I try to go outside to walk him to the car, she's in the car. Mm-hmm. And I'm cussing him out in my face because I'm cussing him out about bringing
the baby outside.
No, the girl.
Oh, you're cussing him out about bringing the girl and he slaps you.
Right, correct. And I called the police. And he took off, with my child, Yeah, it was.
There's so much to say about that because there's one thing where I could see a man being like, well, you pulled up to the hotel, you deserve, if the girl was whooping on you,
right.
But that's his baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would think at some point he would intervene and just, even if he's not trying to protect you, right. To protect the baby because that's his baby.
Right.
What kind of father is he, in your opinion?
He's there, but he's not.
Okay.
Like he has 7 kids.
Okay.
7 daughters.
7 girls.
7 girls.
Wow.
Yeah. When me and him got together, he only had 1 kid. He had 1 kid. And then when I got pregnant and I was about 9 months, we found out together that he had another kid.
Oh, the other kid had already been born.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
So he didn't know about that one.
Right.
Okay.
He had a feeling, but, she denied it. No, she's not yours.
Okay.
But then found out, that it was. And then he cheated on me while I was in the hospital having my middle child and impregnated somebody else. I didn't find out until after the baby was born. And at that time when I found out, we were on a good note. And it was like, like, what the fuck? I didn't tell nobody. Nobody knew. I was the only one who knew.
That's a hard thing to keep to yourself.
Yeah.
But we don't want to be judged.
Right.
Because then if we all would have known, we probably would have had an opinion. You don't want
Correct.
to tell your friends because that's what this. You hold that stuff in because you don't want, especially when you know you're not gonna leave. You don't want to tell people your business because you don't want them to be like, well, why you ain't leaving?
I didn't even tell my sister.
Sometimes that's hard to admit, like just the shame, like you don't even want to admit it to yourself.
Even
sometimes.
now, this is difficult because I was so blind and in love with this man, and just in love with his looks, and because he's very handsome, you know what I mean, but his looks, and he was very cunning and just very like playful and very a fun person to be with. But then on the other hand,
That was that other side.
there was that other side, and demons, and him coming from his family.
That's what I was going to ask. My next question: Did
Right.
you come from an abusive family too?
Yes.
Abusive background.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
And so we attract. We attract. Now the relationship that I'm in now, we don't call each other out of our names. There's no disrespect there. And in the beginning of our relationship, we both said, this is what's going to happen and this is what cannot happen.
You may not set boundaries
Correct.
in the beginning and follow them.
Right. And so that's how it's been between us. However, there's the other side where it done trickled down to my kids, and him seeing how my kids react with me is making him uncomfortable. I'm surprised he has not left yet.
So let's talk about how has it affect your kids? Because
Self-hate. Their father, around but not around, and when is around, very short-tempered, and and then with my guilt, I'm really lenient with them to where they're confused, and it's like I treat them more like they're my friend.
because you're
I
trying
can
to
see
compensate for,
Yeah.
like, hey, I this was a bad time,
Right.
and now I'm trying to pour into you guys and make sure
Right.
I'm gonna give you guys a little more leeway than I probably would have
Right.
gave if it was a normal relationship
Right.
that I had with your dad. And then by him not being present like he should, you're just trying to make up for every little thing.
For every little thing. Like, not only that, we all moved to Massachusetts. And
Right.
because we moved to Massachusetts, I wasn't supposed to live with my grandmother, but the day that I moved out there, she fell down the stairs. And because I'm the caretaker, I ended up staying with her and taking care of her and taking care of my uncle who was mentally disabled at the same time, which took a lot of time from them. But then my other uncle moves in, and he's abusive as well. And he's more verbally abusive. And because I was in there being the housemaker, he was in there making messes, which I had to clean up after. And it's like, look, I'm not your female, and I'm not your child. And me and him used to go at it. And then he would do stuff like cock his hand back. Like,
To you?
Yeah, like he was finna hit me.
Oh, wow.
And it was one time where he was fighting with my sister, my niece, and my middle child got so scared, and she's 10, 11 years old, punches him in the face because she didn't know what
What to do?
and what he was going to do to my sister and my niece. And so now they are fighting. And so my daughter and my sister, I mean, not my daughter, my sister, my daughter, my two daughters, they just got into a fight like a few days ago. It was so bad that there was scratches, there was bruises, there was bites. I had to leave and take the baby to the room because my middle child has a baby and he's sitting in his playpen watching all of this shit. So now it done trickled to him.
So what does that feel like for you? Like you're the dynamic now. You are literally today living with generational issues from all this stuff. And how does that make you feel? Like, is there, you took your grandson, you put him in the room, are you thinking like, okay, this needs to end today, I need to figure out what I'm going to do because I don't want my grandson to go through this? Or are you just in a space where you're just taking it day by day? You're going to figure out, taking it day by, like, what are you thinking about with this, knowing everything that you know now, everything that you talked about, and you already saw this, you've seen this picture before.
Right.
So what are you thinking as far as?
I'm in a space, taking it day by day. There's times where I literally would run to my room and just sit there all day and work in my bedroom on my computer all day just to get away from their fighting, because they argue and they fight. They love each other.
And you said it's the middle and the oldest?
The oldest is out of the house.
Oh, so it's just the youngest
It's
in the middle.
just the youngest in the middle.
Okay. How many years apart? They're 8 years apart?
No, the first one and the second one is 8 years apart. The last two is 20 months apart.
Oh, they're close.
Yes, and they got the same mother and father.
Right.
And, they just take out their issues on each other. And they're just arguing. And so what happens is that the middle one will play the mama. You know what I mean? And the little one's like, you're not my mama. Type of shit.
Yeah, because that's what they do.
Because that's what they do. And then the little one will come to me. Go talk to her, da da da. You never want to hear it, and it comes back on me. And it's hard because it feels like I'm in this never-ending cycle, and they don't want to take counseling services.
They don't want to do any of that.
Yeah, they don't. They're just now realizing now that they need to. And so now they're reaching out, but at the same time, there's mental illnesses there as well, like social anxiety, PTSD. One thinks that they're bipolar, which bipolarism does run in the family. And they feel like they can't go out on their own, so to speak. Like, we'll go to the store. Come in the store with me. No, you can go in the store by yourself. No, Mom, I have anxiety. I don't want to go in the store by myself. You know what I mean?
How old are they?
18 and 17.
Okay. 18 and 17.
Yeah. And so it's just hard. Like me and the middle child, we fought. We fought, like, because she was vaping. And I punished her by taking her phone. And she comes after me to get the phone out of my hands.
Oh, wow.
And I restrained her. And when I restrained her, she bit me. And I punched her in the eye and gave her a black eye. And it wasn't like one of those big black, blue eyes. It was like a
Little bruising.
like a little bruising. You know what I mean? But still, it's like, now it's like, I'm so tired.
I can imagine. Have you thought about doing counseling for yourself?
I have attempted to do counseling for myself. We did have a few good sessions. However, because I run a business, it's so hard to balance. Like balancing that life. Like because when the kids were younger and I was working, I always worked during a time where they were at school, or because of me taking care of my grandmother and my uncle, they were home with me while I was taking care of them. So I was always around. And so when I started my business, it damaged what was going on even more. Because I was gone for, janitorial. A lot of times it's at night. And they're stuck at home with my mom, who plays favoritism. Even with the kids.
So which one does your mom like more?
She favors the oldest one and the youngest one more.
In the middle
So your middle baby is kind of just left to fend.
Right.
Do you fear them getting into abusive relationships at all?
They have.
They've already been in abusive relationships.
They've already
both
been.
of them.
Both
Or
of
all three of them?
The oldest one, she's never told me of anyone putting their hands on her.
Mm-hmm.
But she has had issues where it was like, okay, that's not okay.
Okay. And then the youngest ones have been through physical?
Yes.
They have been.
Yes.
How did that make you feel?
I was hurt.
Yeah.
I was hurt. I was angry.
Did you feel guilty about it?
I did.
You did.
I did.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Even with my middle child, she's more of the aggressor, too. She's more of the aggressor. He'll go ahead and do something like grab her, but not put his hands on her. But she'll turn around and
Wear him out?
wear him out.
Okay, so she.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a Ike and Tina situation
They
where they're
probably don't
back and forth.
See it coming from her because you have the most beautifulest girls and they are so tight. Like they look like just appearance wise when you see them, you're like, they're so sweet and cute. So you wouldn't think like as probably as a guy when she turns around and she's like soccer
Right.
probably in the face. He probably like, whoa, where's this come from? Because you would think her little self is not gonna.
Right.
They're not gonna be aggressive, but they are. They have their own little.
Because they have anger issues,
And sometimes we just gotta let it out somehow.
The youngest one, she's more like me. She's more, more passive. However, if you back her into a corner where she feels like there's no other option,
You gotta come out and protect yourself.
she's gonna come out and protect herself. And so,
So do you feel guilty? Because this is, of course, we already know this is a generational curse basically. Because family it's been brought on throughout generations in your family.
oh, it's definitely a
And
curse.
then when you look at them and now you see them going through it, do you feel like you gotta have a lot of guilt within you?
I do.
So I think that would be a good thing to go to counseling just for you, because in that way you can learn how to teach them. You may need the tools yourself.
Right.
To try
We
to
talk about it. We talk about it all the time.
And that's a hard situation to be in because
Yeah.
we're all mothers here. So
Right.
I could only imagine. And my daughter's not out of the woods yet, right? 14, so she has yet to be 17 and 18. I haven't had to deal with those blues yet. But despite how they act, those are still our babies, right? We still
Right.
love them so much. So I'm pretty sure just being in your position, that's just so hard to try to contend with everything because you still are dealing with your own situations, kind of like what we talked about before. Now you got these beautiful girls that are going through these cycles that you, again, are taking that part on because not only do you feel guilty about your actions in your own situation, now you feel guilty about the actions in their situations, right?
Yep.
And then if they have social anxiety or they have all these things from your actions, right? And they say that they probably can't live on their own, then that puts you in a position of thinking you're gonna have to deal with this
Right.
forever,
Right. Because I want to get out. Like, I had to call the
Right.
police the other day because they were fighting so bad. And I don't like to call the police because the police has been, at my grandmother's house so much.
Right.
And things don't always end up right. Like, the police done beat up my uncle, bringing him in, and, you don't want that. But it was like, I didn't know what else to do when I'm hearing my daughter talking about, she's trying to kill me. She's trying to kill me.
So do you like jump in the middle and try to help, and then it still don't work because maybe you guys all end up fighting, huh?
Well, I don't end up fighting with them, but I end up feeling like I done fought. Because I'm trying to break them up and using all my muscles and my might, and I can't stop her and stop her at the same time. I got to go after the aggressor and hold them down because it's the aggressor that needs to be restrained.
Does your boyfriend ever get involved in that?
What's so funny is that they always argue in front of him, but when they had their fights, which they had one big one within the last week, and then they had a big fight more than a year ago, probably almost 2 years ago, because it's so far in between as far as the physical. It's mostly
just the verbal arguing.
Right. So he's there, but he wasn't there both times
when they had the physical
fight.
Okay. Are you afraid of losing him because of the dynamics between you and your children?
I used to always be afraid of losing him because of it, because he's like, Melody, I'm not used to this. And they gave him a hard time too when me and him got together, because I was by myself for 3 years. Just, doing us. And you know what I mean? And so when he came into the picture, they were upset. And I started my business. So, not only I started my business, now I got somebody, and they're upset and they're taking it out on him and they're being disrespectful towards him because of it. You know what I mean? And not because they're trying to be disrespectful towards him. They just don't know how to say, look, I feel neglected here. You know what I mean? I'm not used to this, and it was my fault, I'm gonna say, because I'm the adult and I could have took control of it. I just didn't know how to, because like I said, it's the balance between everything.
It's already hard with a balance when everything is going great.
Right.
When you bring it in a new person into the dynamic, especially when it's just the three of you. That's difficult in itself. Have you ever had the conversation with him like, you know what, maybe we should put things on pause until we get it, until I figure this thing out? Or is it just going to be, you're going to ride it until he decides not to ride? Because you already said that you're surprised he hasn't left yet.
Right.
So I would think that you're thinking about it. Obviously, it's on your mind, and it's almost like you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. So how do you nurture that relationship or try to make it grow if in the back of your mind you're thinking this man's going to leave me any minute because of my children? You know what I mean?
Well, at this point in my life, we talk about it all the time.
Okay.
We do talk about it all the time as far as the kids, and I tell them I'm gonna try better, and with the kids and stuff like that. And I think it's at a point to whereas it may not work.
It may not work.
Yeah, it may not work. I don't hate him. He doesn't hate me. We've been knowing each other since we were 17 years old. Okay. And so, we were friends then, and, we're going to continue to be friends now. However, I'm at a point in my life to where I feel like I done lost myself over and over again. And, it's like, okay, well, do I just go back to being by myself? Because I need clarity, and I need to guide these kids so that they can get their own places, because them living with me, it's a constant battle, and I can't keep going through it. Because then when we're fighting, and then me and my Renzo.
When you feel
Can you
like you
edit
lost
things?
yourself.
Can you edit certain things that we say? Can you edit certain things that we say?
I can't hear.
Oh, can you edit certain things that we say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Try to edit.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You need to tell me what you want to edit though.
We'll tell you.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, we'll tell you. And so, yeah, I'm at a point to where, there's just this part in my life to where I know I need to get somewhere and I need to be somewhere where I need self-care.
Mm.
I need self-care.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
All I'm thinking about right now is the airplane situation. That's usually like always my go-to. Anytime I may be feeling stressed or overwhelmed or even guilty about certain things, right? You're on the plane, if it's about to go down or if any emergency thing, right? They always tell you to put your mask on first, right? Don't worry about the babies. Don't worry about this person.
Mm-hmm.
You got to take care of you first, right?
Yeah.
And I remember that going through CPR, or not a CPR class, but one of those classes where they tell you, this is why, you don't go into a burning building, or you always check these things because if something happens to you, you're not going to be able to help the person that you're going to save. So you got to make sure your surroundings are straight. So, do you even know what that looks like though? Do you know what self-care looks like for you? Like, what would that entail? So you got to start from scratch.
Yeah.
From scratch. Like
From
you got to
scratch.
figure out.
Because I'm always trying to take care of the people. Like, I could have 1,000,001 problems, and if you call me, I'm going to drop everything I got going on to make sure you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been that way.
But you have a successful business, so I would assume that you understand the importance of boundaries. Right, obviously, right? You gotta run your business, you know deadlines and all that stuff have to be met. So it's already in you. It's just between your business life and your personal life, you just have to transfer over the things that make you great and wonderful in your job and transfer them over into your personal life.
And vice versa.
How do you do that?
And the reason why I say vice versa is because, I may be doing good with my business. However, if my business partner tells me this all the time, Melody, if you got things going on in your household that you can't control, or things that's bothering you in your household, eventually it's going to spill over into your business.
That is true.
And vice versa. And so I'm surprised that I'm still going with my business, because there'll be times where I have a walkthrough and some bullshit done popped off in the house. You can't go to that walkthrough with that energy on you. You have to clear your mind in your space from that energy, because your new clients, potential clients, can see it coming. They can feel it. They could feel it in the way you may be speaking, or the way that. So say, for example, if I go in there and I'm like this, and you're holding your arms like this means you're closed off. You know what I mean? And they can see it. So, and I could just tell.
So what's going to be the next move for you, do you think? Here's one of the things that is so surprising. I am just beyond, I'm so happy that you came, because transparency is probably one of the hardest things that we tend to get from people, right? To be able to speak their truth. Like, we've all talked about being in a state of shame and just not putting that on there. You know that this will air, right? And people will see it. Some of the times when we get people on here, they've already been through something and they have overcome it in their personal experience. They've overcome it, and this is what they learned from it. Your situation is very different and unique, because as much as you've been through and as much as you've overcome, you are still in the fight, right? You're still in the fight. So what does having this conversation mean for you, to come and be able just to talk and share your story? I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be able to relate. They're going to understand 100% what you're saying. I know I do. Anyway, so what is that going to be like for you? Are you thinking about walking away from this and maybe starting your day off different as far as figuring out what does self-help look like for you? Because I would hate for us to, one of the things that we do is just to, not only do we try to help each other, help ourselves, is, help you, you helping us. What does that look like for you when you leave here today or tomorrow? Like, are you already thinking about what you're going to do moving forward to, kind of get a grip on it? Or do you think this was just a great place to come and talk and, you'll just figure it out later? I just want to know, like,
I think that this was a great place for me to go ahead and come and talk. I know that I'm at a point to where I'm accepting that violence is not okay. And I don't see myself ever getting in another relationship where I'm stuck getting beat up or disrespected in any kind of way, because I'm too old for that. And and I should not have ever had to deal with it. As far as my kids, all I can continue to do is just talk to them and support them and point out what red flags look like. Talking to them about, okay, these are the things you're gonna ask, your potential future husband, is there domestic violence in your family, have you cheated, or stuff like that. Looking out for red flags, not, don't call your boyfriend out of his name, because if you do, it's gonna open up for him to call you out your name. They're looking into counseling. I'm going to be looking into getting back into counseling, because they're still teenagers. Maybe not right away for myself, because right now I'm still balanced and I don't know what it looks like.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think I've been on a self-care journey for years, right? So sometimes I talk about like some of the peace that I have, and one of the things I can say is that like it's real, but it took me years and years to get there. Like it wasn't something that happened overnight.
Right.
It was just a conscious effort to eliminate people. Like I lost friends that I had to go without friends for a long time. I had to stop dealing with certain toxic family members. Like I had to, I had to recreate just like my whole surroundings. But part of one of the things that I did learn, and it's just me, is that self-forgiveness is such a big deal, right? And I was carrying a lot of stuff, and I was guilty of holding myself accountable and guilty of a lot of stuff that was not even my burden to carry. It wasn't even me. I was holding on to stuff thinking, I'm gonna take the blame and all this other stuff when it really wasn't even me, right? So I had to learn to forgive myself for a lot of things, and that was probably like the first step for me in what self-care looked like, right? Because you carrying around all this guilt, you feel guilty about this, you feel guilty about that, but some of that stuff that you carrying around, it ain't even about you. It wasn't even on you, right? The things that you put up with in your personal relationships came from failure on your parents and your family part, right? So that's just me and just my opinion, but that's what it started to look like for me, was just separating what's mine and what's not mine. I'm a loving person too. I'll do anything for you, but then I had to stop. You said something. Somebody call you, you'll drop everything that you do.
Yeah.
I had to stop doing that, right? You got to start learning how to put yourself first, and that's what it sounds like. You don't even know what that's like. You don't know what it's like to put Melanie first. And Melody, sorry.
That's okay. My twin is Melanie.
Okay, Melody.
Yeah.
Melody. You don't even know what it's like to put you first. So, and that would be something that I would just look into. Just like, all that you carrying is not yours to carry. And you got to start letting some of that stuff go and understand that that was not your fault. It was not your fault. You were dealing with the hand that you were dealt. You did it the best way you could. Nobody helped you. Nobody kind of showed you how to do it. And I mean, you've gotten this far, right? you can get even farther. But yeah, it just starts with loving yourself and figuring out what that looks like. So I am just, Kat brought you on here. She talked so highly of you, and I can definitely see why. And I'm so happy that you came and sat with us and shared your story. Like, I don't know. What you thinking, Kat? You already said she was an amazing person.
Yes,
Anyway,
you're amazing. One day at a time.
Yeah.
It's a lot because you're not just dealing with your emotions and you're dealing with your kids. Like you have to nurture them, and then they find an outlet. Like we all have an outlet. Like your oldest baby.
Yeah.
She
My
found
oldest
her
one,
outlet.
she did sports. She did everything. The two youngest one, they didn't want to do nothing, and I didn't make them.
No,
And
it's not your. I mean, each kid is their own.
Yeah.
Individual. I was just telling the students about we've been having issues with Day at school, but it's not her. I think I had to tell the principal. I said, these are little humans, and just because you're saying they have personalities and maybe they're not clicking with everybody. You can't say, well, the youngest one, she does this, but yeah, but they're too. We don't know that at first. Like we wasn't raised to have our own individual personalities. It was just like, you do this because I told you to do this, and now the parenting skills have changed. It's more like everybody has their own feelings. Even when you're 5 versus 18 versus 40 versus, we all are humans and we have our own likes. We were talking about one time I used to sit at the table and eat peas, and I used to hate peas, and I used to sit there all day, for hours, looking at these peas like, I hate these peas. And then when you get older, you're like, I don't want to put my kids through that because you may not like the way peas taste. Why do I have to sit there and eat this? So same thing. I don't want to play sports. Okay. Well, what else do you like to do? We talked about something. Even if they don't like to do one thing, find out what works for you. If journaling doesn't, maybe journaling works. Maybe they need to find an outlet to express. Sometimes we don't know how to, all the emotions that's in us, we don't know how to express them properly. So maybe they need to just find an outlet instead of trying to beat each other up. It's like, but that's the closest thing to you is your sister, right? Like, I'm gonna beat you up because you gonna understand. And she knows her. She know how far she can push the youngest because I'm aggressive, you not, so I'm gonna push you a little bit more. I'm gonna wrestle you to the ground, and I'm gonna take this aggression out on you, and you're gonna love me at the end of the day. So I think it's not that they don't like each other and love each other. I think they just more need to find that outlet, and I think it's gonna start with you being able to like unpack some of your stuff and get your tools. Because once you get your tools, you can sit them down and say, okay, this was work for me. Let's try this. What I found, and that was really helpful, a board member told me this at work. I was on the Zoom, and I was like, I get so antsy. Like, I think I had mentioned before, like, I can't even now since my granny passed because of that whole situation of how everything went. I get anxiety quickly over my favorite shows. I can't watch people. Okay, don't say nothing, but I still can't watch. I was a faithful General Hospital story watcher. I used to record my soap operas, but I haven't watched soap operas since my granny passed away. And it's not all tied to the fact that we watched, that was something we liked doing together. It's also the what happens on the stories, and then some of my characters died in real life since the last few months. So I won't watch them. I won't watch The Resident, 911. Those shows are my favorite. I like scripted shows still. So I used to record those, watch them on a regular basis. ER. I found myself listening. Autopsy. I watch these weird. That's tell you I want to be on this world. But when I hear those shows, it's a trigger for me. Anything that happens, like I'm like, okay, And then I go back to that night, and then I start replaying, and I get anxiety. So what I found, what helps me with my anxiety, and I never would have thought this. I have these breathing techniques on my phone. So 5 deep breaths. I never knew that breathing would focus me so much back to reality.
Because it's putting the oxygen to your brain.
And it's making me, when you have to take, no one tells you, when you have to take deep breaths in and out and release them, you really got to focus because you're trying to get all the oxygen in, hold it, and then you're like, it takes your mind is not focused on whatever was triggering the anxiety. By the time I get to the 3rd breath, I done calm myself down completely. And then I can refocus. Because sometimes out the blue, I'll be like, and sometimes I can't find a soother in my life to, something that soothes me fast and quick enough. So coming over the bridge the other day, and I was like, oh my God, I'm getting anxiety. And it comes so quick. And I'm like, breathe. Because that's the only thing I could think of. Like, usually I would try to call somebody, and it's a refocus. So even when you get those moments of like, if they in there fighting, they already gonna be fighting. Instead of just going to jump in first, be like, okay, before I go in there.
Yeah, I had to do that.
Yes.
I had to do that.
Because you already know it's going to be a war when you get in there. Because they going to attack each other regardless. So it's like, let me go breathe.
Right.
And get this strength to get my mind together.
And think of my plan on how I was going to go ahead and address it.
Yeah.
And the first thing I had to do was go and get that baby from the playpen and get him.
Because when they're like at it, they don't care about nothing else.
They don't care about nothing else. And before that baby came, I'm like, look, you guys are going to have to figure it out because this baby's going to be watching y'all. And this baby, he's a boy. And later on, you're going to get it worse from him. You're going to have to take a bat to him. Because he's going to see all this and think it's okay. And he's going to be so disrespectful towards you. You're going to have to put a bat to him. Oh, Mom, don't say that. Oh, Mom, don't say that. I've seen it too many times.
And maybe tell them to start breathing. Like, before you go attack your sister and cuss her out or do whatever you want to do, breathe. Because it may not even be worth it. It may just be where I'm having a bad time because I attack you. No, just go breathe and sit in the corner. Because the breathing really does help. I mean, we got to, whatever it takes to kind of get to that.
Instead of fighting each other like they strangers.
In the backyard, you just, I think I'm at the point in life where I want to be like Jody Mama from Baby Boy. I said, I really appreciate the garden in the backyard. You got a lovely backyard, so just go back there. And tell them, this is my piece. When y'all see me in my space, don't come out here with this. I don't care if the house burning down. Me and my man, I'll be like, come on, baby, let's just sit here. They in there for arguing. Breathe, baby. Breathe. Drink the wine.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's gonna get better. It will. You didn't come this far, and your story is gonna help somebody else. I mean, I'm so glad you came on here. You said this is. I mean, this is kind of. I mean, it's easy when you're sitting with people, but then when you know where this is gonna go at the end of the day, that's where sometimes it's kind of like. And then just to be very open and transparent, because everything is just out. And
yeah, because when you think of domestic violence, you think man, woman.
You don't think about it.
And that's it.
So I hope that's what people take away from this one, is that somebody watches this, and you don't have to come on. I'm not pressuring you to come on, but if somebody watches this and at least says, "Dang, I can relate to that," because we're not thinking about. I didn't think about until you said it. I didn't think about my family being. We all got a whole domestic little disputing family, and that's our normal. Like you said, when people say, "My family crazy," I get that disclaimer all the time.
I had to, for Thanksgiving 2 years ago, before my grandmother died, and my boyfriend was coming with me. I had to call ahead and say, look, this is what's going to happen. We're coming. I don't want no bullshit. I'm talking to my uncles and my aunt. And I'm like, please, y'all be on y'all best behavior. I'm going to come cook. My sister's going to come cook. In order for this to work, I need y'all to be on y'all best behavior. That's on their best behavior.
you always said Lee
gotta
always
give
like,
them
if
a
you're
talk.
going to act
Yeah,
right or
I
not.
did.
I know because we always say characters in our family.
Uh-huh.
We'll be like,
We gotta wrap up.
it's a lot of
Okay.
characters here. And then you got to decide on what character might show up to the show that day because it's going to be a show. And,
Right.
you know, I always say that saying, you give a clown the stage they perform. And usually when I get mad at my family, when we're planning something, and I'm like, nope, they going to act up. Nope, we don't do it on certain holidays. I'd be like, the beginning of the month when everybody got some money, you know, they'd be like, what? But to be honest, I wouldn't trade my family.
I love them. I love my
would
family
not,
today.
and no matter what I've been through, even though it's not going good right now,
Right.
I wouldn't want to, because I think at the end of the day, what we go through, what we're brought into, I wouldn't be who I was if it wasn't for this family.
Right. I love
Craziness
them
and all sometimes, yeah. We just ain't as crazy. That's the problem.
all. Right. That part.
Because if we was the
Yeah.
wild crazy type, then we fit right in
Right.
and understand.
I treat them all accordingly.
Yes.
There you go.
That's what I do. That's how I get along. I accept them for who they are, and I treat them accordingly. Okay, I know not to get on this topic with you. I know not to take it here with you. You know what I mean? And we get along.
And then real quick, I have an uncle. So funny because he'll get back and forth on Facebook, right? And Uncle Little Nigga. He gonna know. He gonna be so happy. I ain't gonna say that. I can say that. That's what we call him.
Okay.
So he give everybody Uncle Little Nigga. Give everybody a little nigga name. Like I remember when he met T. He said, "Oh, that's a little nigga with good hair. He, with the flat iron. Yeah, our hair was really straight. He was like, that's a little nigga with the flat iron. And he'll give everybody a little. And so he be on my face. He back on Facebook, and he was like, I had a post up a couple of weeks ago. He go, I got all these people commenting, and all of a sudden he go, hey little nigga, it's me, Uncle Little Nigga. What you? And I'm like, I don't delete it. I just go, hey, would love you, little nigga. Call me sometime, little nigga. I said, whoever read this post, if they don't know, because most people know, like, oh, that's my Uncle Little Nigga.
Right.
And then, so, that's what he get. But he on my post saying it, and I'm like, I wonder if he'd be like, this crazy. So I'll be praying, like, please don't let nobody who don't know say something like, you know this man out here talking.
Right.
So I'll be like, calm down, because if you trigger him,
He'll take it there.
yeah, he's the one who throws tables and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so.
This has been another awesome episode of She Said We Said. Definitely got to thank our guest Melody for coming out and sharing her story. Of course, we keep running out of time, and it don't even feel like that. It's like we're talking,
that's
and
when you got a good guest,
and it just don't feel like it's over. But it's actually we got to end it. We got to wrap it up. Thank you. I definitely hope you come back and sit with us. We'll talk a little bit off camera, but Kat, you want to tell anything? We'll let you close it out, but
Okay.
you want to say anything before we
tell them, well, let me tell you, we here to support, so tell them about what's upcoming. So if y'all hit me up, tell them about what's, your once a month food, y'all, because tell them give them a little bit of where you from. I know you did on another episode. Tell them where you're from. Tell them about the food that you'll be selling once a month. So if anybody wants to buy some food, you can hit me or Candy up on our Facebook, and I'll give you the information. I'll be sharing it also. But just tell them where because some people, really and truly, I say this because like Candy didn't know. A lot of people, I've had people who met you before, and they're like, "Oh, is she Mexican?" I'm like, "No." And
Right.
I have to kind of explain to them real quick about who, and I have to. That's why I always use Amber Rose, because I kind of like, they know her, and I'm like, this person that you just gave me, what's his name too, but just say a little bit about yourself. Tell them about, what you.
So my grandmother was born in Cape Verde Islands, and it's a set of islands off the west coast of Africa. She was raised until she was 30 and came to the United States. We do cook a variety of Cape Verdean foods, which my sister and I have learned to cook, and we will be selling it once a month. And that's the machupa and the pastel. Pastel is like an empanada, but it's a Cape Verdean version. It's really good. Also, we will be selling other food items like gufung and kanj. And kanj is like a chicken stew. And so if you want to go ahead and hit us up once a month, You can go through Kat. You can go through Candy.
You got a website or anything that you're gonna have up, or is it just gonna you said once a
I'll
month?
just reshare her post when
Yeah,
she posts it.
just once a month.
Okay.
I do have a website. That's for my business, straight to the point, inc.com. We run a janitorial company, and we're always looking for more accounts. So, and we pay attention closely to the details because the details stand out.
Yes.